You're now listening to episode 37 of the Let's Go Comic Show. My name is Justin.
I'm Matt.
And we're doing things a little different today. We are not in the same room. We are together, but much like Firestorm and Professor Starring, we are together, but not together in a physical way. Matt Ritchie is literally in my head, and he is guiding me. He's guided me through the DCW universe, and we'll be going through all the different Earths, all 52, actually, no, 53, because it's so bad.
So I'm the pushy old guy?
Nah, yeah, actually you are.
That's fitting. It's fitting. That's whatever.
You got like the coolest power, dude. Like you should just vaporize everybody in this room right now with some type of like science magic rays. Make it happen.
Hey, but welcome to the show, everybody. We're gonna spoil stuff.
Welcome to the show. Yeah. So welcome to the Let's Go Comic Show, where we talk about comics and comic books and comic book movies and comic book TV shows and comic book TV show crossovers and everything in the world of comics. But before we do that, we're going to break everything down with our rating system. Matt, what is our rating system?
Our lower side of things is going to be don't go. Above that is a go. Above average is a let's go. And then the best rating we give, a gotta go.
Is a gotta go. So
Justin, do you want to give context to that?
Yeah. So in celebration of the past week's CW DC show extravaganza, Crisis on Earth X, we are going to use characters from the CW universe. Some people like to call it the Arrowverse. I like to call it the DCW just because that seems more clever. And like, what if Arrow gets canceled? Are they still going to call it the Arrowverse?
Yeah, don't base it around that guy.
Yeah, come on now, guys. So what we're going to do is base it on our favorite character from that universe of shows to our least favorite character. And so I'm going to just kick it off right now with my favorite character. And I'm going to say it's Wells. It's H.G. Wells. I love H.G. Wells on The Flash. The Flash. He's one of my favorite characters. And he just makes me laugh.
Yeah, he was season 3 of The Flash. He was really good.
I mean, he's been in all seasons, but H.G. Wells is it's just, man.
He's like the cool stepdad version of Harrison Wells.
He definitely is, and he makes me like wish that they would just do a whole freaking show, man. Just with him on there. Tom Cavanaugh being Wells. So it was
Dude, Tom Cavanaugh has done a great job. Did you see the episode this season with the Council of Wells, like where he brings in the Wells from other Earths to figure out?
No, I've been really behind.
Cool,
I've watched.
Oh, dude, it's
the first 2 episodes, and then this Crisis on Earth X one, and so
overall, you're not missing much.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I wanted to watch the Elongated Man one you told me about, so. I'm a huge appreciator of Ralph Dibny, so I would like to see him. So going. So H.G. Wells is he's a gotta go for me. So what about you? You gotta go.
All right, what's
okay? So my let's go is Green Arrow. Overall, I like Green Arrow on the show. I am not super into like most of his supporting cast, but I think that Stephen Amell, I like him as a person. I like him. He's like an advocate for these shows. And so there's a lot that goes into that. So I will say the Green Arrow is a let's go for me.
So below that, we have a go, which is like
average character for me. I would say like Cisco, AKA Vibe. I enjoy him. Sometimes I'm like, there's a little too much of him, or there's a little too much of his, like, the circle of his story arc kind of goes in a circle here and there. He gets upset, he feels left out, he pines for a girl, right? He's the good friend again. So anyways, but I like him. Like when he's on a show, it's good. So
agreed. All right, and then don't go.
Oh, come on, dude. I want you to guess who my don't go is.
Your don't go is Felicity.
Yes, she is. It's Felicity. There you go. Felicity, don't go. There's nothing worse than Felicity on the DCW shows.
I would say there's a contender.
Oh, yeah. Who is it?
Sarah Lance, the White Canary.
Oh, yeah. I don't mind Sarah Lance.
Yeah, she's the worst.
I want to throw somebody else in there. I want to throw another go in there. And that's Heatwave. Heatwave makes me laugh, dude. Dogs like this. Hey.
Yeah,
I like free booze and food.
And we'll get into talking about the crossover in a little bit.
Oh
But
man.
he
Yeah.
had he wasn't in a ton, but a couple of his lines, I was like, man, you know, like who your character is and what your lane is, and
Yeah.
you just stay in that, and that's what makes it work.
I love him, dude. Big fan, huge fan. So yeah, so there we go. There, so based on our rating system, so you can understand and have a way to connect the dots, and it's just a fun way to talk about some nerdy stuff for a few minutes at the start of a show. So if you have any suggestions for our Let's Go rating, let us know. Send us an email at letsgocomicshow@gmail.com and say, hey, I have a great idea for you to start the show off with. Compare your rating system to, fill in the blank. So moving on, there's a lot of stuff that's been going on. But I think the biggest bunch of news right now is this Marvel Fox merger. I mean, with Disney. Sorry, it's really a Disney Fox, not Marvel. But I think that's kind of, there's a lot of different articles out there right now, like are pro it and against it. It's a huge deal for the movie industry. It's literally Disney
Yeah, that's a
absorbing
lot.
the biggest studio out there. Like, Fox does a lot of stuff. Planet of the Apes, Aliens, Die Hard, things like that. Those are part of that package deal. We're all like, oh, Marvel will all be Marvel and everything will be under one roof, which I think is amazing, and I think that's great. But it does kind of like pull another thing off the field. It's becoming, that's the monopoly. It's Disney, Warner Brothers, Universal, and what's in Paramount, and that's it.
Yeah, well, I mean, even Universal like hasn't had a great couple of years. I mean, so who knows
I
what
think they
they'll end up
did
doing.
2 years ago. They had a huge year with the Fast and the Furious movies and Straight Outta Compton. Those movies did really well for them. So they had a pretty successful year. But then they did Dark Universe and
Oh
Mummy,
man,
and
that's just too bad.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was the wrong basket to put those eggs in.
yep, for sure,
So
man.
so the thing with this Disney Fox potential acquisition is we brought it up and talked about it a little bit a couple of weeks ago.
Mhm.
But then within the course of a day, like the news cycle had already run of like, oh my gosh, there's been talks, and then it ended up being a couple hours later. Well, yeah, there's been talks, but it's over.
Yeah.
Like it's dead already, and that's why people are hearing about it. But then fast forward to I think yesterday, and you
Mhm.
start hear rumblings again, and then today, I mean, it was CNBC had a little write up about it, saying it's back on the table and it could come as soon as next week.
Yeah, they said they should finalize next week.
And that could
So
be enterprise value for 21st Century Fox assets that Disney would be getting is seen above 60 billion with a B dollars.
that's crazy. That's
I don't even
that's
have a
more than
category in
Star
my
Wars.
mind for that kind of money, like in moving around for things like that's crazy.
One of the things I wanted to talk about though is like, it doesn't mean that everything's going to go family friendly. I think that's been some of the concerns. Like they're going to make,
No, I don't think
Deadpool
that's
this but I wanted to bring up something, just kind of a thought, and put out a speculative kind of like conversation. What do you think would happen if, this does go through? What are the pros? Let's just talk about the pros and of the Marvel universe coming over, and like, I mean, I guess the mutants coming over really, in the Fantastic Four. And how does that work with Marvel? Like, how would they fold those things in? Do they scrap everything, start new, or do they retool or tweak the things that are coming down the pipeline? What do you think?
I think if we look at the pros, the potential pros of this, not looking at the cons, is
Yeah.
you have a lot of characters reintegrated and available
Mm-hmm.
to the toy box. You know what I mean? You have more action figures available to play with.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest pro for that and the biggest win would be Fantastic Four and everything that's entailed with them as a property.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I think being able to see that done well, like I think about like that's been, you know what I mean? It's been, they've tried to do it a couple times and none of it has been good.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people can look at that and just write it off and be like, oh, it'll never happen. But then you look at Spider-Man Homecoming this year after a few other Spider-Man franchises, and this definitely felt like a better representation of the character. And so I'm like, man, having that for a Fantastic Four property could be really cool. Like to get
Yeah.
just a really great Doctor Doom, man. I want to see.
Yeah,
I want to see that.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm at with man. You get Doctor Doom, you get Silver Surfer, you get the Fantastic Four, but more importantly, you get like the mind of Reed Richards. Can you imagine like there's been some people out there going, oh, what if they already have something filmed for Infinity War? I doubt that's true.
I doubt that's true, but
I
I
doubt
think
that's
if you
true.
look at Kevin Feige's like recent comments about having things like this being the end of like, the culmination of what's come so far, and then the starting point for new things and a new direction for stuff that we've never seen before or whatever.
Yeah.
That would fit nicely.
Do you think that's what he was referring to? Do you think he was talking about?
I mean, I can't help but now to see that deal might go through. I can't help but wonder.
Yeah.
I don't think necessarily like he was doing that because they still have a lot of stuff and a lot of properties they can mine for different stories.
I feel like they have a gigantic timeline on their wall.
Oh yeah, I think they're supposed to have like 20 more movies after this set of movies. Like,
but I bet you they have a contingency. Like, here's our timeline, but here's our timeline if we're able to bring the Fox rights back over. I bet you there's like well, they've got Infinity War, Avengers 3 done, but what about Avengers 4? Like, what if there's a way to all the heroes are dead, but Reed Richards, he's there, one of the greatest, most brilliant minds out there, and he's able to I don't know. I haven't read Infinity Gauntlet or Infinity War in forever, so I don't know the end game there, man. I don't know, but I know that he has this thing called the Ultimate Nullifier, and that's about all I know. So maybe he calls on the power cosmic of the Silver Surfer, and he rolls in and he handles a lot of business. I know that Thanos and Silver Surfer have a little bit of history, so who knows? Who knows, man? Again, speculation. I just think there's some cool story elements that can be brought in. I think moving forward, the only thing that I would say, hey, kiss Hugh Jackman goodbye. He's done. Like he's not going to come out and be a part of this universe as Wolverine. I don't think that's something that will happen, even though that's something he said, oh, I would love for that to happen. I don't think they want to bring that convoluted X-Men history into this really nice, streamlined, like, MCU history timeline. Like, there's really no discrepancies. There's a few here and there if you want to poke and look, but overall, it's a pretty clean timeline.
Yeah.
I think they start new with all that. My only thing is, I feel like Deadpool can survive. It's a huge moneymaker. Ryan Reynolds is perfect. I think they can very easily go, oh, Disney owes me now. Okay. And
they're and that's a whole other realm. And that's a whole new playing field of jokes for that.
Yeah.
But do you think,
exactly.
So what do you think that means for stuff already filmed and in development? Like keep those going, or those get shut down?
They just dropped $40 billion. What's I'm sure New Mutants was a small budget. It's not like it was a $240 million movie. It was probably a $30 million movie. I think they put him out, obviously. Maybe they put it under like a weird banner, like, X-Men universe, and that's like the final one, and that's it, I don't know. I mean, maybe they restructure it. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's curious. A lot of interesting things. We'll see what happens, where it lands.
Yeah, the X-Force stuff, maybe that's something I'm thinking, oh, well, maybe they retool that. No idea, dude. I just think make an X-Men movie in like 4 years. Like, give it a rest, bring in the team, and
well, yeah. I mean, they could bring in specific different characters and then bring them together.
Yeah. The other side of it is we get the original Star Wars, re-release, and everyone's gonna buy that. So
yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, so that's cool. Anyways, I just want to throw that out there. I thought that was an interesting news item, and that's gonna be a big deal. And I think next week you'll probably learn a lot more, and then 2018
should be interesting.
Beyond. So yeah,
dude. So here's I think our only other news item, and I'm gonna talk about it because I think it's really funny. Today, breaking news today.
Breaking news:
Ryan Reynolds will voice Detective Pikachu in the Detective Pikachu full-length film.
Okay. Can I ask some questions? I have no idea. I know Pikachu is a Pokemon. I did not know that he was also a private eye. So is this like my kids don't do Pokemon. I didn't do Pokemon. So if you have any
Now,
info you can share.
mine do a little bit. I will just read what the synopsis is for this.
Yeah, let's hear.
He's actually not just voice; it's motion capture as well for a Pikachu, which that I'm just picturing that in my mind, and I just want to see like the unedited like B-roll stuff of him pretending to be Pikachu.
Hmm.
I just want to see that. I feel like that'd be so hilarious.
No idea.
Oh man, dude. Yeah, I don't think he's usually a private eye as far as Pikachu goes, but I guess anything's possible.
Yeah.
He doesn't even say anything. I thought he just says the word Pikachu and other forms of that. So I don't.
Oh, so he just
I
says his
don't
name.
know
I don't know.
Yeah, Pikachu, Pika.
Like
I mean,
he's
there's
kind of
just,
like, is he like
that's
Groot?
literally it.
It all means the same
Yeah,
thing.
that's what Pokemon do. They just kind of say different variations on their name, and so I just saw that today, and it was just really funny to me.
That's really funny.
Like, why Ryan Reynolds? Like, sure, man.
He's fearless, man. He'll just do anything. He'll do any role.
You do that. You get that money.
Wow.
Any other news that we talk about? We got a lot of comics and shows and stuff to talk about.
Let's jump into this Crisis on Earth X. You ready?
I am so ready.
Yeah. So it's been a while. It's been a while.
It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah. Well, it's been
a while.
Been a while. Jeez. Since the last episode of The Flash that I've watched, so we're in season 4 of The Flash. Last season I didn't super love. The first episode of season 4, I was just it just was rushed, and it felt like the payoff was no payoff. We're just everything's back to normal at the end of season 4, episode 1. So
yeah, the CW shows are kind of notorious for that, like setting things up that seems like an interesting change of pace or different status quo, and then they get it back to normal as soon as possible.
I mean, I get it, it's TV, but I used to want to watch The Flash. Like, oh, I'm gonna watch this episode, and I'm gonna make sure I finish it. Now I'm kind of like, oh, all right. I will say this: I prefer this version of The Flash over the Justice League version. I know there are two different versions. That's apples and oranges, but
Can you
I like
put your
this guy.
finger on what specifically it is?
Yeah, he's just not like, he's not so awkward and always quippy. He feels like a normal guy.
Totally. And I feel like especially, I would agree, and especially this season, he just feels way more just settled and confident in who he is and his role. Because I felt like they really tried to milk it the first 3 seasons of him like questioning himself over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah. And this is just based on these last few episodes for me, I mean, there was a lot of posing and, everyone slow walking and stuff into battle, like every episode. Yes. but overall, I just think that this version of The Flash is more what I'm into. I mean, he's still a lighthearted guy out of everybody. He's not, grimacing as much. But if I had to pick one that I want to be on a team with, it's going to be this guy, because yeah, man. So yeah, Grant Gustin, his Barry Allen works a lot better for me, but still not where I would.
It's not like the perfect ideal. It's
not the perfect. Yeah, I don't know who I always wanted Paul Walker to be Barry Allen.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Yeah, in my head I was like, I think he'd be a good Barry Allen. Like he looks like Barry Allen to me.
I'm a cop.
And he was really into fast stuff already, so it made sense. And now he's sadly no longer with us, which is kind of that's sad. But I always thought like he kind of in my brain, like he would be a good Barry Allen, I think, and I think he could play a square. I kind of wanted Barry Allen to be a little more square, and not so. Grant Gustin's kind of there, but it's kind of like but he's kind of cool too. Anyways, I don't want to get too much into that, but I did enjoy these episodes that I was watching, so we'll just talk about that.
So we're going to spoil it going into this, but
yeah,
just so if you're interested, you're curious what we're talking about, Crisis on Earth X is a 4-part crossover with the DC CW TV shows, and that consists of Supergirl, Arrow, The Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow.
Yes.
and we're going to talk about our feelings and our thoughts.
all of our feelings. So
All the feelings that I feel.
yeah.
All right.
Overall,
Yeah, I was going to say, what's your overall like feel for it?
yeah. First off, I just want to give it a rating. I think it's for me, it's a go. Uh, I'm just not so. I'm just not excited about these TV shows right now, and I just don't feel like it's giving me the quality I want. And but it's not like it's like a go and a half. I guess I'd say that. But overall, I had fun with it, but it did seem kind of monotonous. It didn't feel like this big epic crossover. It felt like, man, there's like so much happening here, and then like
Yeah.
the wedding seemed so goofy, and I hated what the priest is all. I don't really know you guys, but I can tell.
Oh yeah, that was lame.
You guys are gonna you're gonna last a long time. You know what the
Oh,
heck?
thanks a lot. You don't know anything.
Yeah,
You just said you don't know us.
yeah, you just said you don't know us, and we're gonna last. Anyways, there's a lot. I think I was paying attention to a lot of the my problems with it. I was like, man, if Barry Allen can run so fast, he should have like knocked every one of those Nazis down in the beginning as soon as they walked in. Like he's gone. The
Right.
rule of
He did it
speed
in one,
it
like
fluctuates.
the second or third episode.
Yeah, he did. He did do it. He did it on the Flash episode. He like knocked them all down.
And then they all got taken out.
Yeah.
A minute after that.
So
like, wait, you just took down an entire warehouse full of people.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can.
Yeah, no, that's exactly. You're exactly right. That's. So I kept thinking about like, come on. I mean, it's comic books, and you have to. I guess you do have to have qualifiers for some of this, but it just kind of took me out. I was like, come on. The same thing I was teasing about Firestorm. Firestorm could have like evaporated everybody. You know, Nazis with guns, they're out. Like there was no real like supernatural force besides evil Supergirl, which I thought she looked cool because she had that oh gosh, it was from one of those Elseworlds where Superman had that like on that logo on his chest. So I thought she looked cool.
Yeah,
so that was cool.
Different logo.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I like.
So I think there were a couple of different. You like Professor Zoom? Or
yeah, well, I like seeing him back as Reverse Flash. So that was cool.
Yeah, I felt like so. I'll just say my general thoughts as well. I would also say like it's right around that range. I was thinking like the top side of a go. Like it's still kind of in that average range, but I think it's still overall like works. It's just it felt like a wasted opportunity. I think is how I would that would be like my way of describing it. In as few words as possible, which I could give some context to, but it just felt like a lot of like, man, the idea is so comic booky and fun. Like that should have been a home run, like easy.
Yeah.
But it made me think of listening to another podcast talk about the Justice League film. They talked about it just in terms of like, yeah, it was cool, but the kind of cool of like having all of these like crazy different action figures interact with each other when you're a kid. You know what I mean? And it's like these cool moments and you can have these cool things, but that doesn't necessarily mean you told a good story or made a really good film. And that's kind of stuck with me. And I totally was thinking about that the entire time I was watching these 4 episodes. I was like, sure, like all of these guys are in the same room together, but it felt like what you did once they were there for the most part, and the ways you got them there just felt really weird. Like it's like they wanted me to just be happy that they put all those characters together, and that should have been enough. Where I'm like, I don't think that was quite enough.
Yeah. One of the things I wish they would do is they should just merged Supergirl's Earth into like this timeline, like the whole like, oh, I'm gonna travel to another dimension to go to a wedding. Like, how did she even get the invite? I guess Flash may have delivered it. It was just weird.
I don't know.
And then her sister's like, oh, I guess we're going. Like, how tight are they all?
Yeah.
And then
I don't know.
Why are all these girls in her bridal party? Like, Iris doesn't have any other friends. She's hanging out with Felicity now in Supergirl, and yeah, the awkward CW. Oh, she's gonna sing a song part. All that stuff. Just I guess,
dude.
Again, it's part of it's part of the CW shows. Like it kind of you have to expect some of that, but some of it's just like I would have appreciated knowing that Iris has friends.
Right.
So what was the point of them like Men in Black and everybody like, oh, we erased everybody's minds? Like, well, everyone
Oh,
freaking
dude,
knows
I
who
was
you are.
thinking about that. Like, they started running around and doing all that stuff. I'm like, isn't like the head of the police like right there?
Yeah.
Like your boss is like the second row.
Yeah.
And you're like zooming people over the place, and it just felt like a throwaway. Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
we took care of everyone's memories.
Yeah.
I'm like, just so much of it felt lazy.
Yeah.
Like we have this cool concept, and so we can be lazy on the execution and the writing.
Yeah.
Which was just, it was a big bummer for me, man. Like it's just, gosh, some of the lines are just like groan inducing. But here's what I thought were kind of cool. A couple times I thought some of the characters looked cool. Did you? Justin didn't. I'm busting him. He didn't watch the entirety of all 4 episodes.
I did not.
Did you get to the part with Red Tornado chasing them down?
Red Tornado's in it? No.
See, there you go.
Is it the same Red Tornado from Supergirl season 1 that looked terrible?
No, because I was actually going to say I thought he looked pretty cool.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, there we go.
I think you can tell. Like, I think the parts that were slow on purpose, so they could save some money for the parts where you had people flying around and stuff.
Okay.
Like when the Ray was like flying around, for the most part,
Yeah.
there were a couple of odd scenes here and there. I was like, oh, he actually, like, the costume looks good. Like his character looks good. You know what I mean? As he's using his powers and stuff like that. I thought there's a fight sequence where it's basically just Arrow, Supergirl, and the Flash fighting their evil versions of themselves. And those actually looked pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Like the way they had the Flash and Reverse Flash fighting, like was kind of in between all the other fighting going.
Yeah.
It was just cool. I was like, that actually looks.
Yeah, all the effects are really good. Here's the thing: what I like about these shows, to say good stuff. On a TV budget, they do manage to make stuff look cool, and you're not like, it's not groan inducing, a lot of good stuff. And I like the costumes. I don't have a problem with most of the costumes. If I do, it's just because it's like a designy thing more so than it looks bad. Like I wish the Atom's costume was a little sleeker. But that's just.
It's weird. I just can't get on that show. What about Tommy Merlin being Earth X Prometheus? How'd you feel about that?
I didn't care. It was just a way to bring Tommy Merlin back, and then.
All right.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about? I'm just going to pepper you with questions on how you felt about it.
It would have been bigger if he would have really turned on Oliver, and instead it all happened in that one little scene. How he kind of was like, "Oh, we'll rescue you, we'll get you out," and then he's all, "You guys are so weak here," and then he kills himself. It's like,
yeah, that was weird.
It's like they wanted to have that. They wanted to have everybody go, "Oh wow, he's back," and maybe there's going to be something in. And they kind of got your hopes up, and maybe they didn't want to drag out that plot line throughout the whole show. So I don't know.
Yeah, how'd you feel about Captain Cold's accurate to comics glasses visor thing?
Yeah, those are cool, man. I like that. That was one of the first things I noticed when he showed up there at the camp. I hate he.
I don't like fire.
I don't like. I don't like fire.
I hate fire.
Whatever. He's like, I at first I hated Wentworth Miller as Captain Cold when he first came on. I was like, what? This guy he's terrible. He's nothing like Prison Break
he's
version.
So over the top, dude. I love it.
But now I like it. I like him in Heat Wave. Like Heat Wave is one of my favorites.
So he's
got like a huge like throat lozenge on his rider. He's like, where's the throat lozenges?
He was funny. He's like I think it's probably the 4th episode. Like he's like just downing beers or whatever, and Captain Cold walks in. And we're like, "Hey, buddy," and he's like trying to actually like talk to him. He's like, "This ghost is back." He's like, "No, it's me." Like, but I know you're probably, it's me, Leo from Earth X. And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, I mean, there's a guy like you on my Earth, but he died." And he's like, "Oh, I'm dead on Nazi Earth or whatever." And he's like, "Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, but I mean, he's like, let me guess, in a fire." And Captain Cold is going, "Yeah, it was just so great, you know, like that you just would not. There were still policemen in that building, and you couldn't stop saving them. You couldn't leave any of them behind. And he's like, I died saving pigs. I
Oh
think I'm gonna
no.
be sick. Like I was like, dude, that was a good moment.
Yeah. Well, it's a good
So
payoff
there
to
were,
the line earlier when he's in the wedding. He's like, "Oh, I hate cops," you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, there were good moments like that. I
Yeah.
thought. Okay. How did you feel, Justin, about Oliver and Felicity
Okay, I was gonna
heading
get there.
towards marriage,
I was
sir?
going there. Yeah, I hated it just goes back to, do they never learn? Do they never learn? Like it's like, why do you keep bringing Black Canary back into this show? Are they gonna kill this new Black Canary off now? Like every time you think, okay, are they gonna try and sunset Green Arrow and Black Canary at the end of the show? No, they keep going. Who do they? Here's the thing. I'm so frustrated. I wish I was with you right now. I need someone to calm me down.
Wish I could see your face,
Dude. My face is frustrated. Who likes this relationship? Like I don't even see it
apparently
online.
a lot of people.
No, I don't see it online. Like the people that I like on Twitter and things that I read, I don't really see a lot of pro Olicity. Like even that's obnoxious to say. I don't see a lot of people that are pro that relationship. Like it's one of the things that's frustrating. And I was like, I thought this ship has sailed. I thought we've moved on. And when they
I don't
started
know,
hinting at it, I was like, oh wait, what? Like I thought it was gonna be one of those deals like, nah, let's not do that. And a little wink and a nod. No, and then it became
dude.
this whole plot thread.
He told her that he loved her like
Yeah,
multiple
I
times over the
know.
course of this crossover. I'm like, you guys, like this is the most important thing is that I love you.
Yeah.
Like that is not the most important
Which
thing right now.
would have been great if she died. So please tell me she dies in Legends of Tomorrow.
Nope, but Professor Stein does.
Yeah, no, I figured that because he's
going to be on another. He was leaving, so everyone knew he was leaving.
Yeah, he's gonna be on a Broadway show or something like that.
And so you're like, hey,
okay,
gonna die.
Sorry,
and
spoilers.
I felt like they wanted me to be sad about it all, but I just felt like the whole scene just felt so forced.
Yeah,
so weird.
Well, like, what are you gonna do? Go out with a bang? But did you hear that they're bringing Constantine to Legends?
Oh no,
I don't know if he's gonna be the new character, but I know he's gonna be on like the next few episodes or something.
Interesting.
So I wonder if that brings in that whole NBC series as like canon in this universe, or
well, they have. He was on Arrow.
Yeah, like, no, yeah, he was on Arrow once.
Last season or the season before.
I think it was the season before. So I know, yeah, I know that. I think, but I don't. Does that bring his show into canon, or is he just playing the same character in a different universe, or whatever? It doesn't matter. Because there was some things on that show, like they had Dr. Fate's helmet and certain parts of DC lore that were part of that show that we've experienced a little bit in these series. So just kind of interesting, just to nerd out on some of that. But anyways, overall, I didn't like Supergirl as much this time as I did on the last one, and I don't know why. Something about her I just didn't care about. She wasn't as endearing to me.
Yeah, I could feel that.
Yeah, like the last one, she was really fun. She was like, "Hey guys, let's have fun. Let's go fight some bad guys." And in this one, she seemed
she was the mopey one.
Yeah, she seemed kind of mopey, and just all the stuff with her and her sister just didn't connect with me. It just felt weird. So,
you know who I feel bad for?
Who?
Wally West.
Oh yeah, he totally no man.
He was in there for like 2 seconds. They're like, no, the most important thing you could possibly do right now with your superpowers is get your dad as far away from town as possible. I'm like, that is not true, guys. That is not the best use of his powers in this moment.
You're like, why is Kid Flash a part of this show?
I don't know, man. Do you think
he doesn't seem to be used well? Not gonna be there? Yeah, it feels like they're doing a freaking arsenal with him, man. You're gonna be like, oh, cool, he's part of the team, and then he's out. It's like, whoa, why is he out? Like I thought we pushed so hard for him to be, Kid Flash, and now he's
really quickly too.
Yeah, hey, no pun, but yeah, look, why is he a part of this show if you're really not going to use him? It would have been really cool to see them team up more and be like a force again to take all the Nazis out. Oh man, I'm so glad the Flashes were here because they got all the Nazis down. Great, let's go deal with the bigger threat here. It doesn't. I would be really frustrated if that was him. So maybe it was a scheduling thing. Maybe he's like, oh, I'm doing something else. I don't know. And what's up with his hair? That's all I'm gonna say. Like, come on, dude, what happened to the haircut? kind of weird. And so
growing it up, man. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So yeah, that was super disappointing. Wanting to get into the positives again. I like Cisco. I like when he's on. I'm hoping that there was some cool stuff on the Legends. Sorry, I didn't watch that part yet. So
yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff once everyone starts fighting and stuff.
So, oh my guys, it's kind of weird. Like, so I don't remember seeing much of like Wild Dog in his new Star Wars outfit, and
yeah, I mean he's in there. There's a part where Mr. Terrific throws a T-sphere and Ray Palmer's riding on it.
Oh, that's cool.
So
see, I like that stuff. I want to see. That's why I think Legends is the best show.
That is so not true.
It's
man.
so comic booky and fun, man. That's the show.
No, it's bad, is what it is.
Oh, well, I can't wait. I'm gonna actually, when we're done with this, I'm gonna watch it and finish it up. So
you should.
Yeah, maybe you'll take my whole thing to a Let's Go.
Hey, maybe. What's really funny is, for some reason, when I watch it on my phone, I can't turn the closed caption on.
Okay.
I mean off, and so it's just always like I'm able to read what people are saying, and subtitles are always really funny when they describe what's happening, and it's not just like,
it's all Felicity sucks.
Oh, dude, that would be amazing. We should just make our own. But at one point, I took a screen cap of it because it just says in parentheses, rousing dramatic music, while White Canary is talking to like all of the heroes like kind of gathered together. Dude, it's
rousing. How does somebody, thanks, you just sent it to me. How does someone who doesn't know what music sound like, what rousing is? You know?
Well, they could correlate it to a thing or two.
Yeah, this picture's great because
on them.
Because like Steel is just eyes closed.
Yeah.
There was that. What was that weird line? Sorry, just seeing Killer Frost there. Remember, Professor Stein's like, hey, "Why are you wearing that?" Because when I get mad or I feel like I'm in danger, I turn into Killer Frost.
I'm scared or angry.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna get scared or angry probably.
Yeah,
dude. Can I just say she's kind of the worst too?
Yeah.
Like every time she's Caitlin Snow, I'm like, oh man, you kind of suck.
Yeah, I can't believe she's still on the show. She just didn't seem compelling to me at all. Like I remember when her and Cisco were on those first episodes of Arrow in season 2, I was like, oh man, I don't really like her. I'm not connecting to her. Like she's probably a really nice person in real life. On the show, I'm just like,
she just seems so much more engaging when she's Killer Frost.
Yeah, I would prefer her to be Killer Frost all the time, but I get how they're portraying like, no, she's bad, you can't be her, and all that stuff. But yeah.
So I think for me overall, I just felt like there were fun moments, but that didn't make up for everything just feeling kind of like bleh.
Yeah,
like it just felt like when they're in a big old group walking in slow motion, I'm like, yeah, like
it looks cool, but
my kids can set up action figures to do that, but it doesn't mean anything compelling is actually happening. Like you can't just. It just felt like they were constantly cashing in on those kind of things instead of really doing the work.
Yeah.
Of the writing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think that was the weak point.
Hey, you know what I'll say? Not as bad as Inhumans. So there you go. Inhumans is
there you go.
Terrible.
They got that going for them.
So, anyways, there you go. I do what I do want to do is I kind of it sounds really weird and like why would you do that to yourself? But I'm kind of frustrated and I want to go back and finish up those episodes of Arrow and see what the heck happened and why the heck is Felicity's like up on Oliver's like radar again. Like why is he setting his targets on her?
I mean, other than that, it's been a pretty strong season so far.
Yeah. I don't
I just can't, man. He gave up being the Arrow for like 3 or 4 episodes.
Oh, he did? What? Again?
Yeah, and
why?
And Diggle was the Arrow for him.
How's Diggle the Arrow when he hurt himself? Remember, he couldn't shoot straight?
I know that's part of the story. Man.
Oh, okay. He's like, I can't even be the Arrow.
It's part of the intrigue.
No, there you go.
Because he's being investigated by the FBI.
Okay. Oh, that's right. And
because
so,
this FBI agent
and
has him like in her crosshairs, and she hasn't figured out.
oh, Mayor Queen.
So he's trying to figure out not to do it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. I'm okay with that. But there was a ad for like Flash, like they're in couples counseling with the lady from. Remember that show where the
Oh,
girl
dude.
would out of this world, she would touch her fingers and she can pause stuff.
This
Like,
world, dude.
yeah, it's like her mom is the counselor in that commercial.
Is it Out of This World? It wasn't Small Wonder? Was
No,
that a
Small
different one?
Wonder was the robot girl who lived in the closet.
Yes.
They're
Fantastic.
like that.
Made of plastic.
Yeah, that whole house, man. They didn't have another house to put the robot in. They're like, no, she sleeps in a
Nope.
closet and she wears the same dress
That's weird.
every day.
Yep, that's not weird at all.
Not weird at all.
Anyway.
Anyways, she should be on the show.
Oh gosh, that would be
Maybe
awesome.
Disney can acquire the rights to Small Wonder as well and just make her an
There you
Avenger or
go.
something. Like, it's
And
Vicky the
then
robot.
have Dwayne Johnson star in it.
No, and then Ultron infects her. Ultron infects Vicky the robot, and it's just like, crap. And then Josh Whedon could just write wonderful dialogue. Anyways.
Also a big fan of Justice.
Also a big fan of Justice and Harriet.
Oh man.
Oh man. Oh,
Do you have any more thoughts on
No.
the CW crossover? Let's move
No,
on,
I'm gonna finish it up. I'm gonna finish it up tonight in a update. I'll do an addendum maybe on Twitter or something like. Yep,
Nice.
still okay. Overall,
Still
I know it
just
sounds like we're just super dragging on it, but it's fun. It's just there's just parts where I clean up the dialogue a little bit and get rid of Felicity, man. No one likes her. I don't know why she's on the show. Anyways, so let's get out of the DC universe, jump over into Marvel really quick for a minute. I've been watching Runaways. There's as of this recording, I've only watched the first 2 episodes. I really liked it. I think it's fun. I think it's a pretty good adaptation of the comics, and it feels real. It feels like real teenagers, and I think they're doing a good job. I know one of the guys from I don't know his name, so forgive me, but who did the OC? He's part of the creative team, and that was a good show. I mean, if you're into like realistic portrayals of teenagers, I think they do a good job. Some of it's a little heavy-handed, I think, but it's comics, and they're trying to hit like the archetype of that character. So
yeah,
I get that, and I look past it, but it didn't feel trite. It felt okay. I see what they're trying to do. They're just trying to really make these characters all seem so different, so that when they're together, they have this like unique camaraderie about something else. So, it's fun though. I highly recommend it. I would say I think it's a let's go. It's a good show.
right on, dude.
And it feels like, oh, you want to watch the next one. Like I really want to watch that 3rd episode. It was a matter of time. It was like, oh, I got to watch Supergirl and trying to watch Punisher. And so there's just not enough time.
Stop those other things and finish watching Punisher, dude.
Yeah, that's when I need to do that too. So yeah, and so that's enough. Runaways, if you haven't watched it, go check it out. It was good. But yeah, Punisher, man.
Dude, we can talk about it more in depth like once you finish it.
Yeah.
But suffice to say, the only thing that would keep me from saying it is I gotta go is just because of the intensity of it. I don't know if it's for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as concept and execution and quality, man, I think it is the best thing that Marvel Netflix has done.
Yeah, I think so. I would say it's like right above season 1 of Daredevil. Yeah, I liked it a lot, and so I will say this: that just a really quick plug for the Marvel, was it Legacy Punisher, number 218. That was a great comic book, man.
And they're starting to kind of like draw him to kind of like John Bernthal's.
He looks like John Bernthal, right? Dude. Like, so okay. Matthew Rosenberg, he wrote it. I really liked it. I'm not a huge Punisher comic guy, but I've read a few over the years. Like, I think my favorite was the Garth Ennis stuff that they did, like Welcome Back Frank and all that. Which, check it out. I've been reading some of that on Marvel Unlimited. I don't know why, it just popped up when I jumped on. So I was revisiting that, but yeah, it's actually a really good book, and I think I'm going to stick with it for a little bit. It's the War Machine stuff, and so that got me intrigued because there was a lot of people that were like against it, and they were making it. I think they were making a big deal out of nothing. And and I don't mean to be insensitive with that, but they're just trying to say, oh, he's it's kind of appropriating like a black character, and I don't know if that's where they're going with it. It's just more of a weapon, it's not taking away Rhodey. They're just going after what his suit, because Rhodey's dead. Rhodey died in Civil War II, remember?
Right.
So
I mean, and I understood that going into it. I think it was just problematic. I wasn't like against it, but I was like,
yeah,
that could be bad.
yeah, but it was a kind of a stink. But if people give it a chance to read it, it's a pretty cool story, and it Nick Fury contacts Punisher, and it's good. It's good Punisher fun. So I'm excited to see where it goes. So I'm gonna stick with it for at least 6 issues. And we need to talk about that more. Sticking with that 6-issue rule, I think you got to give a book some time to find its legs.
Yeah,
before you just drop
absolutely.
it. So, okay, so there is that. So speaking of the Punisher TV show, which we think is good, and speaking of Punisher comics, which I'm saying is good, let's just jump into some comics. Matt, want to smell those floppies?
Let's do it.
That's what the show's about, dude. So
smell your floppies individually.
Yeah,
apart from each other.
Yeah, and this might get kind of Batman heavy. And we really don't mean for it to be.
It's just the nature of
it's just the nature of the release schedule and what's been put out. And Matt, you didn't get to read it, but last week, Batman Annual 2 came out, and I actually couldn't even get it at the comic shop because they were sold out, or there was a bunch of shipping issues I heard. So I was like, I'm just gonna buy it digitally because I really want to read it. I heard that it was fantastic. Again, Tom King wrote it, and again, that guy just is.
Who's on the art for that?
Lee Weeks, who is a fantastic artist. He's done a lot of stuff. He's done Daredevil. He's done. I believe he did this Robin story called The Gauntlet with Chuck Dixon a long time ago. I could be off, but I really like his art. And then also the last part of the story, Michael Lark did the artwork, and he did a lot of stuff with Gotham Central, and he did a Daredevil run as well with, I believe he illustrated the, oh gosh, who did it? I think he illustrated the Brubaker run, because they were kind of a team. The first thing I ever read by Brubaker and Michael Lark was this Vertigo title called Scene of the Crime. Anyways, it just kind of looked interesting. And so there's kind of 2 parts. They kind of did the end part of this story. But I will tell you, I'm not going to spoil this comic, but it is a gotta go. So if you see it, go buy it. It's probably one of the best Batman stories I've read, man. No lie. It's really good, and you don't have to read a whole bunch of stuff to get the setup and what story they're trying to tell. It does really complement the current Batman run with him and Catwoman and stuff. So, but you don't have to have read that to get it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
So it's a really good book, and I'll have to get you a way to read it somehow.
Yeah, I look forward to reading that.
Yeah, it's really good. Like, if you haven't got it, and don't get spoiled by it, because A, it's a tearjerker, and B, you don't want to read about it online. You want to read this comic, so it's really good.
Noted.
So
I'll make sure not to.
Noted. Get that comic.
All right.
And I want you to read it because I want to talk about how it's better than something else.
Oh gosh.
There you go.
I can take a stab at what you think it's better than.
Hey, how they do a certain relationship. And so let's jump out of that and then jump into just Batman 36.
Oh yes, out today. Dude, Batman 36.
Yeah.
So that is.
What do you think, buddy?
Tom King writing, and then Clay Mann doing pencils. Super Friends Part 1. So I like the idea of calling it Super Friends. I think that's kind of like a little tongue in cheek, like reference to the old cartoon, with knowing like that's not what it's going to be. But it's a way to bring in, Batman pairing with other people, which I know.
I like that they use the logo in the title page. I thought that was cool.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. That's true.
Oh, yeah, that was.
So there's a few things about this. First of all, it's awesome, and I think it might be one of my favorite issues he's done on his Batman run so far.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, if you go back through this, and you look at even the way the art is laid out, it keeps like mirroring itself.
Yeah.
in all these pages. Like you have, a 1-page, splash page of Superman, and then 2 pages later you have one of Batman, but facing the opposite direction. You have Lois and Superman talking to each other, and their backs are kind of to each other the way the panels are set up. But
Yeah.
Superman's like stopping a train, and she's like reaching over to like her office wall. You know what I mean? Like there's just,
Yeah.
and then there's other ones where it looks like you see, if you look at the pages side by side, you have Lois and Clark talking, you have Bruce and Selena talking on the other side, like kind of mirroring each other exactly in the style and
Hmm.
the layout of the panels. And I think that's rad. I don't remember loving Clayman's art before, but I really liked this issue a lot.
Yeah, I think when because he did the one off the Kite Man issues of War of Jokes and Riddles,
That's
and
true.
I
Those were
think
good.
yeah, what I think he was doing there, he was really trying to mimic Michael Yannen's art. I think he was trying to keep it as consistent as
Yeah.
possible,
Yeah.
and I think that's why it was kind of not a letdown, but it was like, oh, this isn't the same. Does that make sense? And
Interesting. Okay.
it and so he wasn't being who he is, but his artwork is beautiful. Like I wish he just would have done this, like
Yeah, this whole
stayed in his
issue is just
lane.
wonderful. Can we talk about,
Yeah,
if we're going to talk about the art, we got to talk about the
yeah,
cover and how we don't have a Rebirth banner cutting off the top of the book anymore, but we have that
yeah. We
DC
talked about that.
Universe in
Remember?
that box. So we talked about
Yeah,
that
we talked
coming,
about
but
that a
now
few back.
seeing that in action, though, it looks really good.
Yeah. My only negative is I hate that Batman logo. I still hate it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it
They
just
kind of use
doesn't.
that. That's kind of an old one. Like, I don't know why they
It's the
use
one
that
from
one.
New 52. It's the New 52 version.
Really?
You know. Yeah. On the. I'm sorry. I'm not talking about the little one in the black on the red. That's
Oh,
fine.
you're talking about the title.
Yeah, the
Okay. Yeah,
title.
yeah, yeah.
Just
That's still not great.
it's got a really terrible like Photoshop bevel on it, which I hate, dude. I just hate it.
That is very
I
true.
said it on Twitter the other day that Superman's logo, his comic book logo has pretty much stayed the same. It's been Superman in that like classic like arch lettering, and this Batman logo, man, I don't know. It's like a weird version of the Arkham Knight type of idea of the wording kind of fitting in the bat. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't say Batman to me at all. It just there's a weird small A, giant A. Like there's no. I don't know where the lettering's coming from, and it makes me mad.
Yeah, it's
And
not
then
great.
the texture on the bat's weird. Like I wish they would go to one of the classic logos from before, like the '70s version's kind of cool. I like the Batman like type inside of the bat logo. Anyways, I don't want to
Yeah. It's a
expound on
weird
that too much,
remnant
but
of the new 52 to have
yeah,
around
it it,
still.
it really is. It really is. So, but yeah, that
I
cover is
think
freaking
if
great.
if we're talking about writing wise,
Yeah.
what I love about the way this story unfolds is you have these two, it looks like two different things, right? Like you just have Superman and Lois having this conversation about calling and talking to Batman about getting engaged and
Yeah.
arguing about that. But then you have the other side of that conversation too with Selena and Bruce talking about
Mhm.
that. But they're doing stuff during that. Like they're fighting bad guys, they're saving
Yeah.
people, but the focus isn't on the action, but the focus is on the conversation, and that
Mhm.
action is just kind of the backdrop for it. And I kind of love that. Like it just
Mhm.
feels really like a really good way to pace the story. Um, and I think you got a lot of really great moments between the two couples. Like you just see a
Mhm.
lot of their attitude. I don't mean that in a bad way. Maybe attitude's not the right way, but you know what I mean. Their personalities and the difference between how they work as couples, and how they
Yeah.
see things. And then I think you see that most juxtaposed towards the end where you have it's like probably like an 8-panel grid, like just going down, and you have like back and forth, like that Bruce and Clark talking about each other and how they see each other.
Mhm.
And man, I thought that was the coolest thing. Like it was to see what they think of each other in
Yeah.
that way, and then they end up converging when you don't really think like they're going to converge necessarily in what they're doing.
Mhm.
Um, and it's the
Well,
best.
you kind of saw it happening. I feel
A
like it was
little
kind
bit
of like
like
telescoping a little bit.
the Doctor X.
X,
I love,
yeah,
dude. I loved that moment where Bruce is at the computer and she's trying to talk to him about this, and he's totally doing a Batman 66. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, because it's delivered to Doctor 10. No Doctor 10's in the database, but there is Simon X, released from Arkham, and X being the Roman numeral for 10. Um, that
yeah,
just
yeah.
felt
He's totally
very Batman
that's
66
funny.
for me. I'm like, that is kind of a stretch, but yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Uh, but I think you
or
have
like
those
Batman
moments.
Forever, Doctor Enigma,
Enigma.
Enigma.
Uh, but do you know what I mean? Like those things are just kind of great. It felt like
Yeah,
the core of these characters kind of colliding in this really awesome way, to where you see them both get out of an elevator right next to each other at the end. Um,
yeah.
and that page is wonderful. Just to
I just
see,
like
like, sorry, go ahead.
no, I just like I like the whole situation where it's like, why'd you take the elevator? And, and Superman's like, well, I'd have to break a window. Like if I came in and it's
Yeah.
kind of like at a concern, you
And I
know?
love you have like that panel where no one's saying anything, it's just that awkward pause. And
Yeah,
then you have Lois reaching across. Oh, hi, I'm Lois. You must be Catwoman.
yeah,
I love that, dude. Uh, and even
yeah,
like, and here's the thing. I don't know. Maybe you can try to help me unpack this and figure out why I feel this way about it.
yeah.
Stuff like lines in Justice League, like I could think of the film, that maybe felt
Hmm.
like jokes or something that didn't quite land. I feel
Yeah.
like the last page of this, like it's a similar thing, but it totally landed, and I thought it was great
Oh,
when Superman says "Vengeance is the night," and Batman answers "Up, up and away," and then they punch the bad guys out,
yeah.
and I kind of loved that
Well,
interaction.
yeah. You know why? Because these characters have had a history, and it's also delivery. I think because I go back to one of my favorite iterations of the Justice League was the Justice League International, and in that comic, Batman, he plays a straight man, but there are times where he 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 has a wit to him. Batman is witty.
Yeah.
He's not. He doesn't say dumb stuff like "Oh, I don't not like you." Like up and away is not a way of him to. He's not trying to make a joke, or they're not trying to sell him as a joke. He's kind of playing tit for tat with Superman. Superman is kind of like, he's really just saying vengeance is the night. He's kind of tipping his hat to him, and Batman's going back to him, up and away, like let's
Yeah,
just
like they have this
the whole
code,
time
they
they're
understand each other.
yeah, and this whole time they're like, we're not really friends. He
That's true,
I
and
don't
that's like
relate
the
to
payoff
him
of like, no, they really do.
exactly.
They
And
should
this
be
is you
understanding.
guys are friends. You guys are friends. You're probably the best friends that you guys both have, and you guys are. It's kind of like they're being dumb the whole time. Like, dude, why don't you just freaking call your buddy? No, he doesn't. He doesn't need me or whatever. And this is such. It was such a great ending to this entire comic. Like, this
Yeah,
is probably one of the best issues of this entire Tom King run, and it's only the first part, and so I'm really excited to see
yeah.
where it
Oh
goes.
my
And
gosh, to see the four of them on a double date.
yeah,
Yes,
like
please. I
exactly,
love
like
it. Punch them out and they're like, so, y'all want to get a bite to eat?
yeah, it wasn't about Dr. X. This whole issue wasn't about that, and they kind of
And they
you kind
almost
of go
like
over like
downplay them too when they finally show up,
mhm,
and they're like,
yeah,
everyone dies, and they're like, and then they just punch them
yeah,
out.
yeah, because at first they're like he's kind of a lame guy. He kind of looks like the Ray, to be honest.
Oh, a little
And
bit, yeah.
yeah, and then Dr. Double X, like, and so they kind of there's there's real no like threat from these guys, but the whole issue is about Batman and Superman and what their relationship is, and it did take me to the movie sense of like, man, this is how you want to see these characters interact together,
Yep.
and just there wasn't a single like panel in this comic where I was rolling my eyes. I was like, this is good stuff.
No,
Between
just
between art
so
and
good.
dialogue and the flow of the whole thing, the panel setups, it was like perfectly crafted and
Yeah, this would be a
excited.
comic book I would give someone that was kind of like on the fence about comic books.
Yeah,
I would give them this issue to be like, to kind of
exactly.
see like what comic books can be,
Hmm.
as far as a really great storytelling. method.
Yeah. It even makes the purple cape look okay. Like if I had to say, like, if there's a bad thing,
That's because the purple cape does look okay already.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So, all right. So this episode, I mean, this issue, man, it's a let's go, dude. It's a gotta go. Sorry.
Oh, I
It's a
was like,
gotta go.
wow, I'm gonna rate it higher than
Yeah.
you. That's funny.
Yeah. No, it's a gotta go,
Good on
man.
you.
What a great comic book. So
Agreed.
it should
I'm
win
all for
something, especially coming off that annual. Like, dang, Tom King. It's Tom King week or month because next week's gonna be Mr. Miracle, and
next week. That's true.
I already know it's not gonna let me down. So
I can dig it.
let's see what happens. So, all right, man. Any other books? Yeah, we gotta get into White Knight, huh?
Yeah. So let's talk about Batman White Knight number 3.
Yeah.
We've been digging this a lot. Sean Murphy, handling writing and art, and
with Matt Hollingsworth.
With Matt Hollingsworth, doing colors and cover colors.
Yeah.
Dude, this continues to be a really strong series. This issue, I feel like, just by its nature of what it needs to accomplish, just didn't hit me as hard as the first 2 issues.
Yeah, I would agree.
But still really, really well done. I love we've talked about it before, just in other action sequences in the first 2 issues. Man, Sean Murphy's artwork just has a great like energy to it. It's really kinetic and just feels like everything's moving really well.
Yeah.
And his character designs are cool too.
Yeah, I like his.
I like the Bane.
I like this
character design.
Oh yeah, the Bane. Oh, yeah, all the character designs are fun in here. I like the alternate Harley Quinn like character, like costume.
Yeah, so supposedly she's like the Neo Joker. Like she's like making herself Joker.
Oh, okay.
I read something that Sean Murphy posted on Twitter. If you look at like her costume that she ended up donning, that it's got the acid shooting flower like the Joker, but also has like the 3 diamonds kind of look like from Harley Quinn too. So it's kind of like an amalgamation of those things, which I think is an interesting character to throw into the mix. Because I honestly, after the last one, I thought she was just kind of like going to be gone. Like, they kicked her to the curb. She's gone. I'm like, oh no, she's actually like becoming a player in this.
Yeah. So I will say I don't like Killer Croc looking like a crocodile. Like I'm not a big fan of that look.
Nope.
And
I've never liked that.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, when Jim Lee brought that in at Hush, wasn't a big fan, and so here it is again. So there's just no consistency on character design. But this is kind of a weird universe. So
it's
I have a bigger issue. I have a bigger issue in this comic, and we'll get to it. I like Roxy Rocket being there. Like, you know who she is? She's a kind of a one-off character from Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, that's where she was from.
Yeah, the new Adventures of Bat. It was like the one with Tim Drake, Robin. So she's from that. I think she was on a Superman episode as well. But yeah, that's where she came from. So that was kind of cool seeing her. And
nice.
The Rocket. So yeah, that was cool. I liked the. I think I was confused at one point because I thought Batman was in custody, and so. Can you help me out?
Yeah, that's how the story started at the beginning of issue 1.
Yeah.
And then it went back in time from then on.
So are we back in time right now?
He hasn't been taken into custody yet. The Joker is still trying to make his case that he should be taken into custody.
So this is basically Joker, his case being presented to us. Is that what this is? Or that's where I was confused.
Coming to Batman for help. In Arkham Asylum, and then it went right to the beginning of the story with Joker like getting all those pills and Batman going crazy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's definitely this pressure to take him in, but he hasn't been yet.
Okay.
I think that's why you're seeing him build his case as this goes along as to why Batman shouldn't be trusted and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, but then you get kind of the modern, like now there's Joker and Harley Quinn working on, getting this like, hey, the Gotham City Police Department has rolled in a Batman, protocol where all the money to take care of natural disasters and whatever is now given to the Batman. Batman cost the city like $4 billion a year or whatever it was.
Well, I
Something
think that's
crazy.
That's all.
$3 billion.
That's all still in the same timeline. Like this is all rolling out chronologically. Like they're not jumping back into the present. This is all the story being told.
Okay.
One way through. So it's just happening simultaneously.
Okay. So I guess maybe I thought Batman was in jail still or something, but
no,
I get it.
That was just that first page.
That first page.
The first issue.
Gotcha.
So I think he'll get there for sure.
Yeah, he'll get there. So one of the things that I didn't like, and maybe there's a payoff, and it's hard because I'm a purist, but the whole Jason Todd being the first Robin who died.
I wondered if that was going to bother you.
It really bothered. I was like, wait, what? I was going, is this not Dick Grayson? Is this Tim Drake?
I was I was wondering that as well for a minute.
Because I was like, did they establish that it's Dick? I don't know. Like, I wouldn't care if someone else was Nightwing, but Dick Grayson being the first Robin is, I don't know.
It's pretty key.
It's pretty key, but I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be. But again, I'm gonna follow the story, and maybe there's a reason. And then all those cool Batmobiles makes up for it, so I don't care. Like that scene is rad, dude. It has like every Batmobile, like at least all the good ones, you know.
So another kind of messing around with like a Batman sidekick is the guy that helps Jack Napier out. Mm-hmm. Is that Duke, as in like Duke?
Yeah.
Just like a different version of him.
Yeah, that was I was gonna bring that up because I thought that was cool. Like already taking characters that are pretty new. I mean, Duke's probably been around almost 2 years now because he was in he was in the We Are Robin thing, and he kind of has the Robin colors on too. Like he's got the red and the yellow and black, and so
totally. So I think the other big thing that happens this issue to get your thoughts and feelings and opinions on is Alfred's dead. Yeah,
that was sad, dude. It was like the last thing he did was stitch up Bruce, and then he died. Like I think that killed him. That was like the last. That's all he had,
Well, he traded him out. Like the system that Bruce had him on.
Oh,
he traded his spot for Bruce's spot.
Okay.
And so that's the thing that's keeping him alive. That freeze technology stuff.
Yeah.
And so he hooked Bruce up to it, and then Bruce wakes up and Alfred's dead, man.
Yeah. And that Clayface stuff, man, that was weird. That seeing the brains.
Dude, that's weird.
It reminded me of that Ninja Turtle that it was his name, Mutagen Man, or just like the floating,
just like in
the
that
brain eyes.
That's totally
so.
Clayface's Mutagen Man.
Yeah. So yeah, this issue, I mean, it was good. It just didn't have the moments. I mean, Alfred dying is a huge moment, but it didn't. I don't think it hit me because if it was like the cliffhanger of the episode, of the issue, then that would be. But it was more of like, oh, Harley Quinn's going in to meet with all the rogues. Like,
okay. Well, she's not even meeting with them. She's going to have control of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with the Mad Hatter stuff, but I think they should have ended it on the reveal of
the Alfred thing.
Alfred being dead. They'd had to move some stuff around, but I think it would have been a stronger ending of like, oh, dang, Alfred's dead. And for it to stick, oh, he is dead. Oh my gosh. I don't know.
Well, I feel like that's what that page
it's still
was.
Good. It's still good.
Like really made it feel like it stuck.
Yeah.
And that was only like halfway through the book too.
It's cool that they didn't keep it as a cliffhanger. I don't know. It just seemed to me as like a place to would have been a good place to end it. But I like all the stuff with Dick Grayson and Babs. They just feel like they have history. Like that's the thing. Everybody in this feels like they have history, and even though it's a different iteration, you get that
this is a well-rounded world with well-rounded characters.
Yeah,
that's really what it is.
Yeah, and I like the funeral scene, like the pictures showing the stuff with Bruce and Alfred. He really shows off he was the surrogate father, and then a little bit, just those like 3 panels of, Bruce graduating, Bruce with the arrow, and then like him walking like a young Bruce in the snow.
Yeah, and it was really good, and it's really poignant, especially so because it just focuses on the art.
Yeah,
so it just feels like this very quiet moment where if it was a movie, you'd have like some nice music playing in the background but no dialogue,
Yeah.
to kind of get the moment across.
Yeah. So it's good,
I
man.
dug it. I think no one feels completely bright and shiny good or irredeemably bad. Like
Yeah.
there's like this nuance to a lot of the characters that I really appreciate.
Yeah.
So
Well, you know what? I
I'm
mean,
up for it.
it is kind of, to me, it is kind of, I mean, painting a picture of Batman's a problem, dude.
Totally.
And I
And
think
the
and I think
implication
that's the
is
whole point
that
of this.
Nightwing after him is
Yeah.
becoming one as well.
Yeah, and even with the the whole thing with Alfred, helping him, everyone is impacted by Bruce's mission, and it's not good. Like Jason
Yeah.
Todd, the first Robin, he dies. Alfred dies. Literally helping Bruce to live. Um, it, there's things that happen because of this war, and man, I can't believe like a year from now we'll be finishing this story. So
Yeah, crazy to think, right?
yeah, but it's good. I'm gonna give it a let's go. It's which is it's a good rating. You want to give it a let's
Yeah.
go. But
Definitely
it's
still
really,
above average
yeah,
for me. Lots of interesting stuff to keep you going.
yeah,
Like I said, the way he draws, like everything feels like it moves. It's cinematic. It's
hmm
dynamic. And I think that does a lot. And then on top of that, you have really great both. I think conceptual writing. You know what I mean? Just overall,
hmm
like the writing is good, but the dialogue is just really, really good too.
yeah. So I want to come back to it, and and there you go. And this there's those times where you're like, give it 6 issues, and like right now I'm like, well, I'm gonna give it all 12.
Right. Well,
Right
yeah,
now
when it's a
you're
limited
not
run like this,
struggling.
it's got to be pretty bad. It's got to tank
Yeah,
pretty bad for you to stop
yeah,
halfway through,
right, halfway exactly. I'm looking at you, Daredevil, the Target, back in
Oh,
1990. I don't know if they ever finished that. Sorry. There's
that's
these two
okay.
Daredevil books that I don't think they ever got their second parts.
Oh, sad.
Maybe they would. Yeah. Anyways, I'm just thinking like, oh, remember these series for a while, and I think two of them were Kevin Smith books.
Oh, nice. Dude,
When he wrote.
I've been liking these limited series. Like it's nice to know it has like a beginning, a middle, and end, and it's not like an event. I feel like
Yeah.
usually you only get those with events, right? You have like it's only this many issues. But to
Yeah.
have a story that's self-contained like that, um, I think it's been really good, man. You have that with I mean, Metal is a event, obviously, but it feels like one of those kinds of stories. You
Man,
have
I feel like Metal's kind of taken a break. I mean, it
well, they
has,
did. They
but
took an entire month off.
yeah. And I don't know
It's
if that's
coming
good.
back up though, dude.
Yeah, I don't know if it's good though.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm kind of like, oh yeah, what the heck's been going on with Metal? Like Batman
Yeah, I think they could have
stuck in
paced
that.
those one shots out a little better. But
Yeah, especially we're running right into Doomsday Clock, and I'm like, well, you're almost getting a little that event fatigue. Like, oh man, there's this thing and now this thing, and um,
when you
yeah,
have
I
stuff
don't.
like White Knight or Bug or you know what I mean, like stuff where okay, I'm committing to this many issues.
Yeah,
I like that.
no, for sure. It's it's just kind of like, man, they maybe they could have spaced them out different, but anyways, whatever.
That's
Like in
true.
comics, I'm just looking forward to some of these things ending because I want to get like Commandy's ending in another month, and then Bug, and so like let's save some bucks. And again, I want to add Punisher to my pool, so that way I'm not buying everything, and I can
Yeah,
still
and you
try
can
some
try out a
different
few
things.
different things. Yeah.
Yeah, I like trying. That's the thing. I want to try stuff, and that's why I picked up Punishers. Like, I want to try something that's not Batman. It's just Batman. Just is, he's just a character that people can, you can write him anyway, and it's going to be interesting. As
Yeah.
as witness to just this episode, like three separate, things we're praising, and they're all Batman books. But there's other good comics out there, and I want to give them a shot. So yeah,
Yeah, totally.
cool. All right, well, anything else, buddy?
Nah, man, I think that's our show this week.
That is our show. It's a little bit long in the tooth, but it's all good. It's all good. Matt, how can people get to you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Matt Ritchie, MatTrichey.
Yeah, and you can find me at J_Rocka, and you can hit up the show if you wish to on Instagram and Twitter at Let's Go Comic Show. You can send us an email with some questions or complaints or some ideas at letsgocomicshow@gmail.com. You can visit our website at www.letsgocast.com, where you can find our other show, the Let's Go podcast. Hey, go check that out. And then in January, we'll be having a new show added to the mix called Start Today podcast with Eric and Mike, and they'll be talking about things. And so more news on that when that hits, we will let you know here. Please do us a favor. Be a part of what we're doing. Help us make the show better. Maybe on this episode, you're like, man, it didn't sound as good as usual because we're just two guys trying to make something happen. And so if you want to be a Patreon, please go to patreon.com/letsgocast and be a Patreon, be a contributor, be a part. When you listen to this, be like, man, I made that show happen. You can tell your mom, say, Mom, I give to the Let's Go Comic Show and the Let's Go podcast. And now they sound better when you listen to them, and she'll be so proud of you. And if you feel like, hey, man, I just can't do anything right now. I got to buy a new refrigerator and I got diapers to buy. Hey, man, all good. But head over to iTunes and leave us a positive review with 5 stars. Light all them stars up, man. Like the starry nights of Christmas. You know what I'm saying, Matt?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we want to see. So this Christmas, give the gift that gives all year round. Give us positive comments and 5 stars, because that would be fantastic. And then lastly, it's Christmas time. You want to buy somebody a fancy gift, head over to our merch store over on TeePublic. And the easiest way to get there is just go to letsgocast.com/merch. And there's a link there that'll take you there. And you can buy a whole bunch of fun stuff with Let's Go things all over the fronts of shirts and stickers and cups and pillows and bags and whatever else you want to do. Yes. You can customize it and make it all happen and look really awesome at the same time. So there you go. Enough pimping of all of our stuff. But hey, it will help out the show. And at the same time, you get something in return. And so that's what it's all about, right, everybody? It's like the hokey pokey of life. That's what it's all about.
You turn yourself around.
Turn yourself around and drop a couple dollars.
That's what it's
all
about.
There you go. Get a shirt. So, all right. My name is Justin.
I'm Matt.
Let's go.
Let's go.